Hi, welcome everyone to the Inside Story podcast, where we take you behind the scenes of building diverse businesses and becoming a successful entrepreneur. I'm your host, Dursun Halimova, business coach and facilitator on a mission to help build impactful businesses. And today we are taking a sneak peek at Dandycraft Skincare, which is a Luxembourg-based natural cosmetics company. And my guest today is Solene Whiskin, who is the co-founder of Dandycraft. Dandycraft is an ecological and sustainable natural cosmetics. More than 90% natural cosmetics manufactured in Luxembourg in a small lab in Elsure, mainly handmade and produced in small batches. It's exciting to see that such companies exist. And Solene, it's a pleasure to have you. In addition to being the founder, you're also a communication expert with over 10 years of experience. It's great to have you. Great to have you, Solene, on the Inside Story podcast. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Lucian. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting me.
So, as a general practice, I like to start off by reading several unfinished phrases, and I would like you to finish them for me, please. All right. The first one: being an entrepreneur means
Juggling all the time with ups and downs. It's a real roller coaster because you have to deal with the good and the bad things. So, real roller coaster.
Roller coaster. Couldn't agree more. Next one: building an impactful business requires
challenge and passion. You have to be passionate to keep on, focusing on a real business model that fits you and that makes sense for you and for your customers.
Failure is
unacceptable. Well, for me, at this point of my life and our business with my husband, so no, I would say that failure is a risk. It could happen very quickly, but you need to be prepared to every turns of events that can happen. So, fingers crossed.
Success is a result of
hardworking, long days, long nights, never-ending brainstormings.
And the last one: being fulfilled in life means
to love and be loved. Yeah, to pursuing your dreams and just stay focused on goals and being surrounded with the loved ones.
Yeah, indeed. It's so important. I think love has so much power to help us go through even the hardest moments in our lives.
It is being complete.
Let's kick off and get to know a little bit about you and Dandycraft, which you started with your husband. You co-founded in April 2022. Congratulations. Yes. Your company is 2 years old now.
Officially, because it started a bit earlier, 1 year earlier, non-officially, because it takes an awful lot of time to elaborate the formulas of the skincare products. So it's a very complete and process. So it takes a lot of time. So that was just before having the permit to officially have the company started.
Tell us a little bit more about Dandycraft Skincare. What motivated you to start this company?
Well, initially, my husband has a chemist background, specialized in skincare and perfumes. So, but he had to work for several years as an IT. And then the pandemic arrived, and we made the point, and we weren't happy. Both of us, none of us were happy in our daily lives, working lives. It wasn't at all aligned with our values anymore. And my husband, Jean, always wanted to pursue his dream to create his own natural skincare product brands. So that was, just after the pandemic, we said, okay, now is the occasion to do it. We had another project, was the baby project, that we didn't manage to achieve at that time. So we said, let's put that aside and let's just go on, do it now, because otherwise it's going to be too late. You're not going to have the courage to do it later. So let's go and see what it takes. And we also thought that launching such a brand in Luxembourg was really a great idea, because there's so many talent in Luxembourg, but in the cosmetics field, there's no real local know-how. So there was such a card to play here, and we could put all our passion and love and know-how in our brand to really construct something which would speak to other people, other consumers who would like to have more transparency in the way they consume and in the products they buy. But maybe we can speak about that a bit later on, because there's a lot to share.
Yeah, there is a lot to uncover. I'm very curious. I have a few questions for you already. So you started talking about creating the cosmetics because your husband also happens to be a chemist, which is very important, right, in cosmetics industry. But I wonder, how did you identify a need for your products and find product market fit? How did you figure out that people need this, they want this, and they're willing to pay for this?
So the thing is, bio, the natural products, which is for cosmetics and other range of products, is really rising today. But there's a lot of misunderstanding about the products, and lots of customers are being mistaken, because in cosmetics, you just, you buy a product. It says, okay, it's good for you. You don't think about, you're not going to read the list of ingredients. You just believe in the brands. But the thing is, today, most of cosmetics which you can buy in shops, or, are from big brands. The thing is, they generate so much waste. So it's all very confusing, because
Misleading.
yes, misleading, because publicly, the marketing field, they have great messages, like being éco-responsable, we're doing a lot for the planet, etc., etc. And you dig a little bit, all that is just void. It doesn't exist. It's marketing, it's image. And us as consumers, before being co-founders of our own brand, as consumers, we wanted to put that really on a blank sheet and say, look, there's a problem. There's a real problem about cosmetic brands today. There's absolutely no transparency at all, whereas there's so much to do in the field. And you need to lead the consumers to think about, what they're buying, how to think by themselves, and to take him by the hand and say, well, look, have a better look to what you're buying on a daily basis, because it's products that you put, on your face, on your skin. It's a health issue, and you need to be very aware of the situation today, of what you put on your skin and such and such. So for your own health. So that was
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed, it's so important, right? It is a personal health issue, but also environmental health issue,
Exactly.
right? Because as you pointed out, mainstream cosmetic providers, they find nice ways to mislead the consumers, or to make us think that, oh, this is great for my skin, and they're being responsible with the environment. I think my consumer behavior has evolved, especially in the recent years, as I became also kind of self-conscious and also aware of environmental consequences of my little buying choices, right?
Yes.
Whenever I go, I try to prioritize products that has some kind of a label that says it's like, I don't know, bio, or it uses recycled materials or things like this, because like if there is, even with little shift in my buying behavior, if I could minimize the impact, I would love. And it is very difficult, though, to be a consumer in this day and age. There's so much information, and sometimes we receive conflicting information. So I really appreciate that you try to be open and honest with the consumers, and also educate us what it actually means to use natural products. And
Mm-mm-mm.
I myself very recently transitioned to kind of fully natural products, and my skin feels
It
great.
changes everything.
Yes,
You
exactly,
feel
right?
better in
So
yourself. You're doing a good act for the planet also, and only on a day-to-day base life. You just every little act is thought through. It's measures, and when you see the waste of energy of the plastic, this all amount of plastic that is wasted on a larger scale, and it's disastrous. So every little act counts. Every little act counts. So it's very important to be aware of all that.
indeed. And can you maybe speak to the experience of early stages when you just started testing few products with friends and family to collect feedback? And I know from our earlier conversation, you've also raised funding through crowdfunding platform Ulule. Maybe to not so much to raise the funds necessarily, but as you said, also kind of to test the idea if people are actually interested. Can you maybe briefly describe that experience and what did that kind of give you? What kind of insight you managed to collect?
Well, to begin with, I have to know that my husband did the formulas according to my own need as his wife and as a customer. But okay, I'm a good cobaye, a guinea pig, if I could say, that at
Yeah.
one point you need to test on a larger scale. So apart from testing on your friends and such, we needed to do have a real insight, global insight. So what we did is that we launched a crowdfunding campaign on Ulule, which took place for 7 months, so for 3 months on the platform to see how people responded. Because on Ulule, it's a real complete campaign where you explain the purposes of what you do, why you're doing it, so what are you proposing. It's very complete. So we needed to have the feedbacks not only before the product was launched, but after also. It was, as you said, Justin, it's not so much for the money you raise, because at the end of the day, the money you put in it and the money you gain is not at all, you put more than you gain. That is for sure, specifically in our field of activity. But so after the 3 months of campaign, we had just amazing results because we had a goal of, well, of course, 100% of sales, and we did more than 300%. So which corresponds to about 60 or 80 different clients, which were not only based in Luxembourg, but also in France and in Belgium. And not only these people were our friends, but they were also unknown people who just, benefit from the crowdfunding campaign to test new products, discover some new brands, and also to support these kind of, initiatives. So that was just great. And once the products were shipped to these customers, these Zulu customers, we had all kinds of feedbacks which for certain products gave us the assurance that, okay, that was the good formula, the good texture, it was validated. And for some others, we needed to change certain things because, of course, you want to fit to the demand, to be to propose the best products that you can to ensure the successful, of course.
Exactly. I mean, I think as a business owner, one of the most important things, if not the core, is to make the customers happy and provide something
Exactly.
that they need, they want. And yeah, so thank you for
So
sharing this.
yeah, you're welcome. And just the other thing about the crowdfunding campaign was not only for us to prove or to launch our brand, but it was also to comfort us in our own capacity to launch a brand to give us some legitimacy as entrepreneurs. So to reinforce that feeling of yes, we can.
Indeed, I think it's such a maybe relatively easy way to test, right? If you have an idea and if you have kind of created a product that you can easily test, this is a great way to see if people even willing to buy it. And especially, it's great that you also ask for feedback once they have purchased it to see how what were their experiences and an opinion. So I think it's instrumental to have this feedback loop where you collect customer feedback and then integrate it into building and creating your products.
Which isn't easy because a lot of people buy their skincare products in usual shops in the supermarché and stuff. So they have a different experience because here we're speaking about natural products. So the sensoriality is different from a conventional cosmetic where there's a lot of, for example, foam on shower gels. People think that foam means clean. It doesn't. It's just something which is added to give the impression that. But it's often it's because there are certain ingredients, not always good ingredients, which are added in the formula to give this impression, and that reflects that we need to break a little bit. So, in the way that yes, the education to the customers is necessary for them to consume better and to know why what was the where they can find the the little clues and hints which can make them say, well, I should be careful that before buying.
I think it was the story of Colgate, if I remember correctly, that I read, and they basically company really took off after they added for the toothpaste this kind of minty flavors where after you brush your teeth you have this kind of strong minty flavor. You think that, oh, my mouth, my teeth are much more cleaner. In fact, it doesn't do anything in terms of the cleaning. So they added, I think it was the menthol flavor or other flavors, basically to your point that once they figured out that, customers react in a certain way for these slight changes, then yeah. And it's a bit unfair, as you say, right? Like, especially not knowing what causes this foam or this feeling of freshness. Hopefully this is something that is healthy, but you never know.
Sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it's after years and years, decades, I could say, of adverts on TV and stuff where it's very marketing. Everything is only image. No, a fresh breath doesn't mean you have a healthy mouth, and it's kind of little things like that, and people they're just so used to have certain types of products, and so they don't try to search for the little bug under the leaf, which is always there concerning big companies.
And maybe, if you don't mind, to speak now to the experience of funding or finances, rather. You didn't raise any external funding to start the handicraft. You bootstrapped your company to profitability using your own personal savings. Your husband left his full-time job and you joined him later, shortly after that. And that must have been very challenging financially. Can you share with us how did you manage the investments necessary to build your business and create the products?
It was and it is still today very challenging because to launch a cosmetic brand means to do some kind of investments, which is buying the material, buying the ingredients, working with toxicologues, different laboratories, because there's a regulation is really strict, concerning cosmetic products because of health issues. So it was, and it still is very challenging. As you said, we just picked our own fundings. We're completely independent. We still are today. And it's, it is difficult. And here in Luxembourg, the image given publicly by Luxembourg and the officials is, go entrepreneurs. We have different helps. We have, we can help you, we can guide you. But in the facts, in the reality, it's not quite the same, because the government proposes certain aid, helps for entrepreneurs who launches themselves, but you need to tick certain boxes, which are mostly proposed for certain types of fields of activities. And of course, us in cosmetics, we are very, very few to work in that field. It's difficult for us to find our marks and to know who to address to. And once you know, because, it's kind of a ping pong play game, each entity just throws to the other one. And so you completely lost in that. It's very challenging. And when you end up having, adding the different contacts, and each one of you say, well, it doesn't work like that. You need to find the solution by your own. So that is very, very difficult. As an example, at first we were trying to find a laboratory already, set up, so we didn't have to invest that much in material, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, so we had to find an empty commercial place and completely transform it into our own laboratory. So in Luxembourg, that's how it goes. And the banks also have difficulties to, whatever activity you're doing, banks are quite difficult. But here, they are counting on certain helps promised by the government. So they give you the loan, but we ended up knowing that we were not eligible for this help from the government. But it didn't change anything for the bank who already granted us the loan. So now they're asking us to reimburse this kind of amount of money that, of course, we still don't have, because we're not big enough yet. So it is very challenging from the financial point of view. That's why we need to hang in there, and with a lot of belief and the right tools and the right connection, we hope will, keep on breathing for a long run.
I hope so too. You're doing such an amazing job, and I hope our listeners, myself included, will become future customers. If I could choose a natural product, I think now I'm in a stage where I am much more conscious about my choices, and I would love. And while speaking of that, you don't have a physical shop, unfortunately, but customers can go online and order it. And they can also find your product in some beauty shops and hair salons, if I'm not wrong.
No, I'm mistaken. Yeah, it's totally that. Today, so we have a new shop, which is dandycraft.com. So you can buy directly our products. And after that, we have a few partners through Luxembourg. So in different places where you can find our products. And so if ever you're, the people who are listening are interested, you could just go on our website, and soon we'll indicate where you can find a product directly to be, if you need to see and to test the products before you buy them, which is really important, of course, you will be able to see where we sell our products next.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Welcome.
Maybe now we can shift a bit the focus and talk about your journey of building a business, which coincided with also pregnancy, which was a challenging journey. You gave birth to two lives, I want to say, to your actual child as well as to your business. Tell us a bit about this part of your story, and how did you manage to work on two, I would say, very demanding projects, right? Raising a child and building a business ground up.
Well, there's a lot to say. Well, the thing to know before entering the details is that, it's quite personal. I had, when I was working for companies myself and not being an entrepreneur, we had difficulties being pregnant. I went through quite a few miscarriages. So I thought that physically I was not able, to have a kid. So that's when we decided, and after the pandemic, that we would no longer, force the for the baby project, and then we put it aside and we'll see how it goes. But when we decided to launch Craft, our son Marcus came along very naturally. So yeah, it demanded a lot of organization because, well, launching a brand and being pregnant is hard. It's very hard. But on the other way, it was also a real big motivation. It gave us even more the courage to give life to our project. So yeah, no, it was really, really challenging. But it was so meaningful. The meaning and all that, the courage it asked us, that it just came naturally. You can do so much more than you think you can when you're forced into situations that you hadn't planned, but you just find the courage and in your inner self really to rise and shine, if I can say. And it's
Indeed.
also all the messages, the right messages to give also to our son while he grows up, to say, well, we did it. Your mum and dad did it with you, and you were there at the same time. So he's part
Mhm.
of our adventure.
Amazing. No, I'm not a parent, at least not yet. So I admire women like you who are somehow managing to, yeah, like to work on these two demanding projects at the same time and raise up to the challenge. And I think we, especially women, I'm biased here, but I think especially women are so strong and capable of so many things. And no matter how much challenges we experience or whatever roadblocks we face, I think we are always ready to rise up to the challenge and really like do our best. So you are a true inspiration, Solene, in this regard, successfully kind of raising two childs at the same time. So well done.
Thank you very much. Well, I think that self-confidence is probably the key. And a lot of women don't, well, mostly before being challenged in that way, think they won't be they won't be capable of dealing with so many things at the same time. But once you're confronted to it and you don't have the choice, it's just, you have two solutions: or you cry, or you do even better and you, as I said, you rise and shine. So just have to do it and put your fears aside, and you can do so much more. You can do so much more than you think you can. So yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. And maybe while we are on more of a kind of personal topic, let's also talk about another aspect of your business, which is, I think, is also extremely challenging for a lot of people, building a business with your partner. That involves a number of challenges. There is always a risk that challenges or even failure in your business can impact your personal relationships. Can you speak to your experience of building your business with your partner, with your husband? How did you balance between personal and professional life?
We still are. It's very difficult even today. Well, at first I decided to join my husband in the launching of Craft because also we wanted to spend some more time together from a personal point of view, but also because we are so different two people. They're not at all the same. He's he's a Mediterranean. He's kind of, he's Spanish and Portuguese, and I'm French and English. I'm quite the calm and smooth, and he's, the nervous one. But it was quite interesting to see how our different personalities and skills, which were so different at the beginning but matched completely as a couple, ended up by matching also in the working place. So we decided at first to work together in the same direction, and sometimes because we couldn't agree on certain things, we decided to split the tasks,
Responsibilities?
and it just ended up by working exactly like that. So we each have our roles. He's really he's the cook. He's manufacturing the product, and I'm kind of impulsing the image, the partnerships, the commercial points of, developing the commercial fields for Dandicraft. So it's working. It's a day-to-day challenge because at every new event we have to clearly decide what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and discuss about our differences of opinions. But we always, because of course I'm in communication, so not only in my skill and my professional skills, but also in my personal skills. So we end up talking a lot and putting everything on the table and to know how we're going to do this together, step by step. So sometimes we work in the same direction and doing on the same task, and sometimes we need to put the things aside and each work on our own task.
Yeah, area of expertise. Yeah, it is indeed so instrumental, and you are maybe a lucky couple in this regard. You have complementary skills that can really work well together. And yeah, him being a chemist, you being the
Yes.
communication specialist, I think you have like the core needs of the business right there. So
So that's also mainly why we decided that working together was feasible, more than feasible, was a good idea, and could really work if we were precautious. Also from the personal point of view, because of course, well, you wake up, you brush your teeth, and at the same time you're talking about how's the day going to be from a professional point of view, and you end up being, taking care of your son, and at the same time brainstorming in a balls pool, this kind of kids stuff. There was well, anyway. So sometimes it can end up by being very funny. It is, I must admit, quite risky. But if we just end up by working step by step and being very, as I said, precautious about how it can be in our own relationship, professionally and personally.
no, that's great. You give hope to people like us who in the future might start their own businesses with their partners. I think, yeah, if as long as you are aware and conscious, and as you said, put a lot of emphasis on the communication, hopefully a lot more businesses can evolve in, among life partners, becoming business partners.
But some of our clients, I mean, business clients, thought also they could be too much of a risk because, of course, if a couple ended up by splitting, it would put Standard Crafts in a difficult situation also. So people are quite, uh, on one part, they are really, saying that it's really impressive and etc. etc. And on the other, they're a bit, wondering.
Skeptical.
Yes. So our job is also to drain back and to say, okay, we're living together, we're raising a child together, we're happy as a couple, but we're also professionals and we know what we're doing, and we're very he's also my colleague, he's my friend, he's my lover, he's my everything. And so together we know how to really hold our role as in the personal life, and for Dandy Cross also. So it works. For us, it works.
Good. Incredible. And I wish both of you great luck
Thank you.
in continuing the great work that you do. And I hope Craft climbs higher and higher. What is it called? Ranges, hopefully. Now, maybe I want to also touch upon your other initiative. Craft, from what I know, is not the only venture that you have started. You recently launched your own communications agency to help small businesses. Can you speak to that initiative? What's your goal with this initiative, and what made you want to start it?
Well, actually, before joining my husband Michel-Ange in Dandicraft, I was a communication manager for a bit more than 13, 14 years. So for big companies and smaller companies in Paris and also in Luxembourg. And becoming an entrepreneur, living all the difficulties and challenges that goes with being an entrepreneur, closer to my communication skills, made me realize that there was such a gap between what entrepreneurs are doing and what they think they could do with the different tools that they are at their disposal. And the image of communication is, well, I can only afford communication and invest in communication if I have a lot of money. And it's not the case. Because little entrepreneurs don't have the money, even more when they start a business. It's not an investment they want to do straight away. They want to put money elsewhere first. But to launch my agency is also to say I am also an entrepreneur from the handicraft point of view. So I know what you're day-to-day facing. I know what are the challenges, and you don't need to put an awful amount of money in communication for you to be seen. And being successful is also to show yourself and to know how to do it correctly with someone who can advise you with the right skills and such. And it's being taken by the hand. So this is what I'm proposing for my new agency, is to help entrepreneurs and independents to think about their communication strategy and to take them by the hand, to help them and to work with them on only on one shot or on an annual basis to accompany them through their strategy.
No, great, amazing. I think that's so important, especially as you said, for early stage companies who don't have big budgets to
Exactly.
kind of take advantage of people like you and use your services even if they can't put aside a lot of budget or hire a designated communication specialist on a full-time basis. We are unfortunately reaching the end, and I have so many more questions that I want to ask you, but there is one that I have to ask. That question was left for you by a previous guest. They left this question without knowing who they're leaving it for. And the question reads as follows. If your company becomes extremely successful and you have a good exit, meaning you decide to sell your company, what will you do with your newly found wealth?
Well, depending on when would that be, I would invest everything in my son and help him to launch his own dream. Because as parents being entrepreneurs, I hope that my son will gain all the good aspects of that and will feel confident enough to pursue his dream and to, yeah, he would be my most good investment, I would say. So
No,
yeah.
amazing, incredible. And I think that's not only as a parent investing in the child, but also hopefully investing in a new future entrepreneur who is going to build an amazing
Yes.
business as
Yes.
their parents. So
That's the idea. Yeah. Because well, the future is ahead of us, and he will know better what are the needs for the future. So yeah, it's completely that.
great. Thank you so much, Solene, for today's conversation, taking the time to come on the Inside Story podcast to share your story and the story of Dandicraft Skincare. I really appreciate it. It was so insightful, and it's amazing that what you are doing through your company, helping us use products that are not only good for our skin, but also for the planet. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy.